Gonna wait on our next guest right here. And we are in the building. And you are sideways. Hello, how you doing?
This is hilarious. Okay. I have to fix that. How do I do that? I have to flip my camera completely or rotate? Let's see. Just
rotate it over. No, don't turn around. Rotate it. No, you got to turn it over. Yes. There we go. Round of applause, everybody.
Hang on. Yeah. Now, okay. You know what? Can you even see me?
Perfect.
I have to adjust my setup. I don't want the thing to catapult over. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. No, so how about now? You good?
I mean, I feel okay. Do you feel okay?
Oh, great. How you doing? So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity here at This Is Hip Hop Radio to interview you. Everybody who are jumping in, who are going to be watching, I am your boy LS, host of This Is Hip Hop Radio. I like to say MC. And we have the lovely actress / writer / producer / podcaster, Nadege August. Or I like to say Auguste.
Ooh, fancy. That's because you're fancy man.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, my first name is Antoine. So,
how do you spell that?
Antoine. Antoine. Antoine.
Antoine, like French.
Yes. So I like to get fancy here.
Where are your people from?
My people are actually from here. My mother just loved the spelling and the French name, so she gave me that name, and you know that name kind of put me in the prestigious category.
It sure did. It opened some doors for you. Let's just say your resume didn't get picked over.
Hey, it didn't get picked over. You know what I mean? I just had to reappoint myself a few times. So how are you? First and foremost, I just wanted to also let the people know a little bit of your accolades, right? I don't want to go through all of it because we'll be here all day. But, you know, you've played in a plethora of movies and theater. I mean, you were nominated for an NAACP Theater Award. I mean, you also won an Outstanding Supporting Actress in Drama Award. You played Clifton Powell's girlfriend in The Brothers. That's the first time I ever seen you, and that was one of the most hilarious scenes there was, because everybody knows when someone doesn't speak or they appear not to speak the language, some people like to just talk crazy to them. So that one right there was kind of like something that you would actually see at a cookout like that. You also been in the Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, Criminal Minds, Happy Endings. I mean, it's just been so much. But I also wanted to get into your theater background. But before we do that, I wanted to say, how are you doing now?
It is Saturday.
And I also
want to get so good.
Yes, I see. I wish I would have had mine. Usually I'll have that, but today I have water. I'm just relaxing with the water. But usually I'll have either a glass of wine or a mimosa or something like that. I try to, you know, change it up today. And I got some new lights today, and they're like, so if you see me sweating, you'll understand. I'm gonna grab my towel in a minute. So first and foremost, a lot of people who are just now tuning in, a lot of them will say, hey, wait a minute, that's the young lady from Ruthless, Tyler Perry's Ruthless.
Yes.
So I wanted to actually get into that before we get into your past and, you know, get all up in your business, right? If you let us. So how did you actually land that role in Mr. Perry's Ruthless?
Okay, so, you know, last year was a strange year on the planet, right? As we all know. But I think when it first happened, when we started to shut down, everyone thought, oh, this will just be a couple of weeks, right? And,
Absolutely.
and you know, we'll all be back in no time. And sure enough, they started to just request self-tapes. And they sent me the sides, they say audition. And, you know, it's not that unusual for actors to audition that way nowadays anyway, but it became the only way you could get seen. So I sent it in like end of April or something. And at some point, and when the whole thing was shut down, everyone went about life just expecting not to work and nothing would happen. Lo and behold, we get a call that not only did I get it, but we would be shooting and flying to Atlanta. Mr. Perry had figured out how to do what he calls his bubble. This bubble where, you know, we test for days before we come, for weeks ahead of time, almost daily. Then we all fly in the same plane together. And then we get there. I mean, it's a whole production. It was brilliant. And
Yes.
so that was a wild, unexpected, here's how a job happened. Because truly, none of us thought that we'd be working, you know? With this
Yeah.
pandemic. So that is the most exciting and yet boring way to have gotten a job. You know what I mean? Because it isn't like I did anything extraordinary. I didn't show up and beg for the audition. It was literally, I got it. I understood what the material was. I think I had the advantage of the show was already airing, right? So I had a set the feel for that show. And so when I got the opportunity to audition for Joan, I decided to look at, okay, so here's a secret. Nadege August, the person, happens to be fascinated by cults. I love cults. And when I say I love cults, people think what I mean is like, I like the stories behind them. So I listen to podcasts about them. I read about them, anything about them. So it was almost perfect because I already had the mindset and I knew what an interesting addition Joan can be. And that was what I probably did differently than anyone else was that I had the advantage of knowing the world and then figuring out who Joan was in that world. And that, you know, it was so nice to like get a job off a tape and not have the pressure of being in a room with Mr. Perry. Because that, can you imagine? You're like, walking in, I'm about to go into audition. And then you open the door and it's like,
yeah. It's like, okay, well, now all of my years and all of my talent and all of my degree just went out the door. Everything that I've done just went out the door. And now I got to get myself back. I got to reprogram all of that in about not even less than 2 minutes.
Exactly. Like a deep breath. And it's like, that's why sometimes it's better not to know who you're going in for. I think if I knew, the pressure would be too much, right? Okay. And also, let's face it, the element of surprise can either work for you or work against you. So either way, it kind of worked out that they just got my little tape and I was from the tape, you know, which is nice.
So they can actually truly say that they picked the creme de la creme right out of, I would say, a whole bunch of actresses that they could have actually got. And you played Joan, the sneaky accountant. I will say she is really, you know, her character is really, when she first came onto the scene, when I looked at it, I'm looking at her and I'm like, what is her angle? Because there was, you know, the young ladies, they didn't trust her, Tally and Ruth, they didn't trust her. But it was something, I was like, well, they're not trusting of her because of, you know, what she's about. However, she's looking, I can't tell what it is. And then after it started progressing, I said, oh, I see. She's after this money. She's also after this money. Oh, I'm not going to give away. I'm not going to spoil the.
Don't tell anybody what Joan's up to. Come on now.
But look, you guys have to actually see what I'm talking about because that's not the whole premise. But the way she comes onto the scene, it was kind of it was different. I just was like, what is her purpose? She's there for a reason.
Yeah.
And so when you actually looked at the script and read who she was, what was your first thoughts? Because she's very calculated.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, just think about it. You have to think about what the person does for a living. She's an accountant. Calculate, right? Yeah. Very left-brained, meticulous, right?
Yeah.
Things have to add up. Puzzles need to be solved, mysteries, and there's never one correct answer. You don't get to the result through just one way. There are several ways to skin a cat. So I think with each person, Joe looks at each person as this algebraic problem. And she's like, okay, this is going to be my way to get to the solution. Sometimes you fail, you just erase and you start over. Do you know what I mean? So my approach has been very much of like coming from that brain of this is someone who has to calculate things. And think about it. It's a world that's constantly, there's danger, right? There's this fear of punishment.
Absolutely.
You've been brainwashed. You don't know who to trust. So I think as much as others do not trust Joan, Joan doesn't trust anyone else either. Do you know what I mean? But you can't let people know that you don't trust them.
Absolutely, because then whatever your mission is, it's going to fail anyway because they're going to figure you out really quick.
Exactly.
Now, how was it? Because you're a very seasoned actress, right? Can I call you an actress? Because everybody says,
you know what? I prefer the femininity of things. I like the feminine thing. You know, listen, I'm a little old school. Like, open my door. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hate when they say actor and they're referring to a woman.
Yeah.
Actor, I'm old school, so you know I like to say, hey, actress. So you're really seasoned. How was it coming into this type of well, you came in during the COVID, era, you know, when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. So how was it coming into Mr. Perry's? And when I say Mr. Perry, guys, I'm speaking of Tyler Perry. Okay, we'll use his stage name, but anybody who actually works with him, they refer to him as Mr. Perry.
Exactly.
But coming into his regiment, you know, the way that he does everything, how was it? Because, like, we had Yvonne Sanat on here who plays Talon.
Yeah.
And she told us exactly, like, how they, in what, eight days, how many episodes that they filmed, like they finished the season, and like that is unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So how was it coming into that
environment? Well, and this is the beauty. I got, you know, here's what was very sweet. Yvonne and Lenny Thomas, who plays Daikon, when they found out that there were a handful of us who were new hires and we were coming on, they were so gracious. They reached out to us, to me personally, via Insta messages. And I said, and I was just like, they were like, listen, if you need anything, let me know. And I said, oh my gosh, yes, please. And gave him my number and we chatted ahead of time. And Lenny gave me the best advice. He's like, do you come from theater? And I said, oh my gosh, yeah, that's my jam. And he's like, you're going to be okay. Because here's the thing, in theater, you only get one shot, literally one shot. You can't tell an audience, oh, excuse, I'll be right. I just messed that up. Can I start over? You can't. You just got to go. And Mr. Perry comes from a theater background too. That's how he started, right? With his live shows. You just got to learn to roll with it. So if you're an actor who's never been on, who doesn't understand the concept of just like, no matter what happens, the show must go on. And so in that, once Lenny told me that, I said, oh, I'm going to be okay. You know, don't get me wrong. The way it is, it's like, I call it fast and furious. It happens so quickly that you pinch yourself like, wait, did I really just shoot? Did I meet you people? Yeah. And let me tell you something else. You would think we are all best pals. We are not because there's any sort of animosity, but because there is this constant need of pulling each other. It's like, can we run this scene? We're always running lines. When you see people together, they're not talking about their own lives. They're running lines. because there's just no time for anything else. The closest thing to actors that I can give as an example is that works this fast is probably soap operas.
Yeah.
You know, soap operas have one show
Oh,
a
I've
day
heard.
churning out. So they tend to go quickly too, as well. But for that kind of drama with the emotional demands that these parts and that storyline puts on people, yeah, it goes a little too fast. You know, it's a big
Yeah.
blur, said and done. Like, I don't have any, I literally remember my very first day. The first day there, for some reason, there was some big storm coming through the South. And so we didn't know what we were shooting until the morning of. And the night before, they sent us 3 plans in case it was all, because the compound, the show happens outdoors
Yeah.
a lot, right? So we're affected by weather. We're dependent on what the weather's doing. And so there was a plan A. If the weather lets out, we can just do what they wanted to do from day one. Plan B was going to be something that involved all of my scenes in the finance room, which was kind of scary to me because this is the first time I'm meeting Mr. Perry in person. It's also, we're going to spend all morning shooting all of my scenes out of sequence, back to back to
Wow.
back, back, no breaks in between. Oh, and you know, who knows, right? We've never worked together. I don't know what he's like. And then there was plan C, which was the other show, Bruh, was also brought in so that as soon as
Yeah.
we were done, he can shoot Bruh. And so it's like, well, we'll just go to Bruh if we can't shoot Ruthless because the weather won't let us. Well, lo and behold, 7 a.m., I think, no, actually 5 a.m., cling, cling, we get a text. I open my thing, and guess who's on all day?
That's you.
And it was me and Colin, River and Joan. And
Yes.
we looked, and so I call him my day one. We are so close because both of us, this was our first time working together and with him, and we were like, but the whole rest of the cast were so supportive, like Yvonne and Melissa, who plays Ruth, beautiful people sending me texts going, you got this, don't worry, you got this. So
Yeah.
I had the cheers, and it was, and you know, can I just say, by the time lunch rolled around, Perry looked at me, he gave me like one of those little like satisfied winks, thumbs uppy things that made me walk away like, oh my God, he likes me, I think he likes me.
Yeah.
I was totally fanny. I was like, you're welcome. But like so nervous. But he actually referred to Joan as creepy. He's like, you playing her in a creepy way. I like that. I was like, ooh, I wasn't going for creepy, but okay, I'm creepy. And if you want creepy, I'll give you creepy. So I brought on the creepy.
See, a lot of people don't understand, and I know that scene. I remember that scene, and a lot of people don't understand when you do watch it, if you haven't seen it already, you guys definitely need to go to Amazon and get that trial or buy it and watch it all the way through, because this show really captivates you, right? Especially if you're not privy to how cults move or operate, I should say. Then this will be something as a treat for you. But in that scene, I was looking at it and I said to myself, now this guy is actually being real creepy, just like creeps are, and she's trying to work, but when I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, I'm saying she's really looking at him and she's trying to get her work done, but there's something going on in that head of hers. You know, not to mention what she probably thinks what happened to him right just before he started talking to you, which I won't disclose, right? You know,
he was a despicable human, wasn't he?
Oh man, he got what he deserved. I should say that.
He did, but he played that part so well, man. That actor, he brought it. He brought it. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yep.
And no, but when you were in that, when you were doing that, now that you said that was your first time where you guys were just, it was all you shooting at that point. Now I'm looking at it, thinking about it in retrospect, I'm like, wow, she really did a great job, and it was out of sequence. So watching it in sequence, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And you did this all in one shot. No okay, break. We're going to do an hour break, 30-minute break, and we're back on.
The only breaks were technical related. The camera needed a new battery or it needed a reload. And that happens so quickly too that even as an actor, it's like, can I just get a swig of water? And that's where the preparation comes in, because ahead of time, I had to know, okay, so we're shooting, this is, you know, let's just say, because I know my very first episode is the 15th episode of the first season, but we're shooting number 22 right now. And I have to just kind of like keep track of, okay, so what has happened before then? Who am I mad at this person I'm talking to? Are we friends? Are we allies? What is it? What is it? And just to like give yourself these markers so you can keep track of of the storyline. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, because if I didn't do that when they were putting it in sequence, you probably would have lost the story. Right?
Right. Absolutely. So how much would you say of your theater background played a part in that?
Everything. Everything. I mean, listen, when I hear actors say, well, I just want to do TV. I just want to, great. You know what? Good for you. But it's where it's at. It's where the real art is. It's where it started. It started with live on stage, entertaining people. And there's something about the energy of people in the room. So how do I translate that on a set like Mr. Perry's is, you know, whoever's in the room, like the camera people, the lighting people, the grips. I mean, there are always tons of people. You don't know what their jobs are, but they're all busy doing something. So at any given moment, there are at least 10 people around you, my audience, you know, even though they're doing their job, but they're also watching the performance. And every so often, you know, if I hear a little chuckle that someone can't help but suppress and like, oh, I'm working, I'm not supposed to do that. I know I'm doing my job. I get to test out things on them too, you know, watching their reactions, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot. And, you know, there's something about not having to do it twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a little spoiled now. Like, my next jobs, when they're going to ask me to do things 10, 20 times, the same thing over and over, I might yawn a little. I'd be like, oh, my God, Tyler would so get this over with already. You know?
Absolutely. But you want to know one thing about what he does with you guys that I admire is that although you guys are doing one take, it looks perfect. Like it really looks great.
Seamless.
It doesn't. Yeah, I don't understand. You know, the mindset of someone who would come from okay, traditional film where, okay, well, we're doing this, we got to do this over. Let's do it from this angle. Let's do it from that angle. I would love to be in a room with somebody and look at their face after working from that environment coming into this environment.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, it's either going to be a pleasure because it's going to be like, oh, you mean I can really enjoy this? I can explore things a little more. I can probably do more. Because every time you go with a different angle, I can maybe discover something new and do something different. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, it has its merit. On the one hand, you know, it's a one-shot thing where, you know, I've seen, and I've had moments too during the shoots of Ruthless where I've walked away going, man, I wish I could, I should have done that instead. Or the looks of disappointments from people who are like, man, that sucked. I effed that up. Whereas, you know, in other traditional settings, you would have the opportunity to do it over and do it the way you hope to get it done, you know? So it has its merits either way, you know, it's a pleasure to be able to do it all. And it's like in theater with every performance every night. So my theater background, we do about 7 shows a week, right? A matinee on a Sunday, 2 shows on Saturdays, and then Tuesday through, so 7 performances a week, right? And there are times when some performances are not your best, but you get to do it again the next night, but it's still the same show beginning to end. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. How much, you froze on me. Oh, somebody's calling her while she's doing an interview. That means they're not watching you guys. That means they're not watching.
That's the beauty of this stuff, man. I mean, it's a shame. It's so. It's
okay. Yeah, it is stressful, but you know, when somebody calls, you know, hey, it happens, right? You know,
Right.
that's Instagram. So how much of your work do you actually look at?
Uh-oh.
No, because I'm curious to know. Do you look at any of it or no?
No. Shh, don't tell
What?
anybody. Yeah, no, because you know, I have such a hard time doing that. And I hear other people too have that, but yet there are others who love it, who need it, who want it. I don't, because I will find myself nitpicking at the things I have no control over. And the fact is, it's done, it's out there, it is out of my control. It's like crying over spilled milk, right? And you can't cry over
Yeah.
things that can't cry over you. That's my whole thing.
No, not
So
at all.
yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I do have to watch some of my things, especially when you have to put a reel together as an actor, right? Because that becomes your calling cards
Yeah.
to things. So that's when I'll probably watch, so I can pluck some good scenes and put together a little montage of my work. But yeah, I have the gotta move it along. Gotta move it along.
Absolutely. I noticed that most veterans don't really watch their work. They really don't. It's more of the new people that are just coming in.
Yeah.
They're happy to see themselves on the screen. But you know, I've noticed that, you know, talking with a lot of veterans, they don't really like to watch it, especially when they're doing like a series and they're just continuously working. It's like, I'm not even going to watch that. I'm just going to continue to build on the character.
Right. And it's also, and there's not enough time when I'm so sorry, I'm so fidgety right now because
No,
you know
that's
what's
okay.
going on? When I
That's
started this, the camera was like, and now it's like this, and it's vertical. It's so confusing. But I want to give a quick shout out to, you know, I can't help but see original TP Ruthless fans. It's
salute.
Savanta. All these folks are there watching us. They're from, do you see them?
Yeah,
Can I just say, my Ruthless fans, they are the best. They are
I
hard. They
love
are,
them.
oh my gosh. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Yeah, and they're really upset with us right now because we're in a mid-season break. They're looking for
Well,
that 10th episode and it's not coming on. And some are writing to me asking me, where is it? And I'm like, I wish I knew.
right. Well, you know, you get spoiled when you guys put out so many episodes. You
Yeah.
know, you like he really reels the watcher in. Anybody who
Like, you want to
watches,
know what's going to happen. You want
you
to know
want to know.
what's going to happen. You have to know.
Very easy to binge watch.
Binge worthy, total binge worthy. But you know what? Because, you know, so what's happening now, BET, regular BET, is showing all of season 1. So folks can go back and catch up, and I guarantee you will catch things on the storylines that you probably missed the first time around. And then so BET Plus is streaming the new season 2s, and I guess that's where it's going to start up again, starting with episode 10 and continuing on. And I guess eventually that'll make its way to BET. I mean, I wish they filled us in on those types of details because I love communicating with the fans, and anyone who writes DMs me, I almost always interact with them. If I'm lying, let me know, because those of you watching, you're watching me.
I see the heart. I see the heart.
I know.
You're not saying.
Yeah. I'm so happy y'all are here. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes. So I want to take it back a little bit. So you actually were born in Brooklyn, USA. As real Brooklyn people say, Brooklyn, USA. They don't say Brooklyn, New York.
BK. Now we say BK.
BK to the fullest.
Before we go into my own background, I just wanted to say something. You know how you asked that great question about whether or not I like watching myself?
Yes.
And you said most veterans don't. Here's the thing too, though. What has shifted in our culture is that most people are so used to a camera. And right now, the trend is to the influencer thing is happening. The vanity reason tends to be more behind it. Whereas opposed to those of us, because I came right at the cusp of these things, right? So
Yeah.
We're still about the art, you know, we're thespians and it's, you know, versus like, what do I look like? Oh my God, do I look good? Do I look good? Do I look good?
Do I look good?
Okay.
Do I look good?
You know,
Is
yeah,
this my right ankle?
that's my better angle. Yeah, no, I can't do that, you know, and which is why I'm kind of happy right now. I can read over my face who's watching, so I can't see anything that doesn't look right. So you need to let me know if there's anything that doesn't look right.
Oh, I can see. Yo, you're fine. You're fine. It's a. You know what? Whoever called kind of like blurred the vision. But don't worry about it because now it's clearer. I don't know what happened. Thank you, Instagram. They made you clear just as soon as I said the vision was blurred.
What happened was the phone just went dark on me. Like it's almost.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's not acknowledging that I'm doing a live right now. Maybe there's a trick to like letting the phone know, hey, don't go to sleep. I am here. It's here.
Please, phone, don't do that to us. Don't do that. No. But yeah, you did. Yeah, but you know, we are in the look at me, vanity-driven society right now, and you know, like I said, a lot of newcomers, they watch themselves, they like to critique themselves and things of that nature, but. I think that sometimes it's good to watch yourself, but it's better to perfect your craft instead of critiquing yourself. Because what you think is not, I would say, not complimentary to your art, when it comes on camera and someone else is looking at it on that screen, it's a whole different ball game. Everybody doesn't see what you see.
Right, exactly. And you're probably the very things you don't like are the very things that will make you that special. That's probably your it. That very thing, that little weird thing that your eye, something, whatever it is, it's you. It's what makes you uniquely you. Now, if you happen to not like it, all you're going to do is obsess over it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why I don't constantly watch, because I don't want to start paying attention to like, oh, I better make sure I never, you know, I don't know, do this, whatever it is. You know,
yeah.
I mean? Then I'm censoring myself. Then I'm not truly living the story or the character, and I'm not serving Joan if I'm like, because Nadege may not like doing whatever that is, but Joan does.
That's Joan.
That's Joan. You know,
absolutely.
And, yeah, and I enjoy the transformative aspect of things. At some point, the gang, most of the cast, and we weren't all out, but we got together and went out. And ladies were all over the men. They recognized the guys while they were out. And no one looked at me. No one looked at, who's the other actress who was with us? Chances are they just don't recognize Joan. Like, this isn't Joan at all, you know? And I've had...
Yeah, no, not at all.
And I'm kind of liking that, because I get to just sit back a little bit and slide under the radar. Like, I just sat back. I watch everybody getting hounded and stuff, and I just sat my little cocktail, like, like, no one knows, no one cares, and you know, it's great. I'm not in it for that anyway, you know.
Absolutely, but you've been doing this for a long time. You know, it's not like you just jumped on the scene and you know you're just like, hey, look at me, or you know, I'm okay with it. No, you're actually, this is what you do. You know, a lot of us were, you know, young. You and I are around the same age, believe it or not, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of the younger people, they're looking for the new people that come in. And if they were to check your resume, they'll be like, that's her?
And that's what I live for. I always said, if I wanted to play Nadege and be someone that you recognize all the time, yeah, I'd be on a reality show. I'd go do a reality show, because then I'd be, yeah. And that's not what I'm in this for. I love being able to transform so much that people like, you know, like in Joan's case, she's so ugly, and then they see me, oh wow, she's not that ugly. See, that cracks me up. I love that stuff. They're like, she looks weird. And then they see me in real life. They're like, that's her? I'm like, yep. So yeah, my entire, and that's been an issue too, in terms of, they always say, find your niche, find your niche, find your niche. I've never been able to do that. My agents used to say to me, it's like, and I'm going to use profanity. He's like, God, with you, it's like throwing shit against the wall and seeing where it stick. Because it's like, I look at your work, all the different things that you do, and I go, well, what is it that she does? Because she can do so many different things. And they used to force me to try to fit into a box and fit into a box. And I said, it's not my fault that all these different people have hired me to do these different things. I convinced them that I can do these different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, and I don't know. I mean, even if they said to me, so what's your type? What is the job that you should be doing? What is this? So am I seriously going to try? Not that I've ever went for that, be like the hot girlfriend all the time. At some point you outgrow hot girlfriend, right?
Well, with your work, not what you look like. There's difference. You know what I'm saying? If you said, hey, you know, I can play that, but I'm so much more than that. You know?
Well put.
Oh, well, you know, real recognize real, right?
Right.
So definitely. So you actually were born in Brooklyn, but you didn't grow up in Brooklyn. Is that right? You actually lived in France and Port-au-Prince, correct? Right. So when you where did you land first when you moved from the States?
All right, so here's my origin story. And like I say, it's nothing to see here, okay? My parents met, had my brother, had me, they were married, except they married too young. By the time my mom was 24, she and my dad were splitting up, and I was just 4 years old. This was all in Brooklyn. My mom just kind of like, yay for her, she grabbed the two of us and off we went to live in France, Marseille, the south of France, pretty ballsy, until I was 8 years old. And then from 8-year-old to 14, we went to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, where my father's from, but not to live with my father, but just, you know, that's where my dad's from. And my mom, yeah, made sure we all had the 14, I came back to Brooklyn, and I see you're frozen now. That's fun.
I see you're frozen.
But you hear me though, right?
I can hear you. So
wow.
There we go. You're back. We're back.
Are we both back?
We're both back. You know, Instagram doesn't want me to be great tonight. It did it in the last interview, and it just doesn't want me to be great. But we're going to be great regardless because we're great people, right?
That's right. Hey, listen. So yeah, no, so we end up back. So I ended up back in Brooklyn at 14, and then, you know, back in New York, and did the whole college and grad school there. Theater drama was my thing, and then moved to LA. That's the basis of my life. But to answer your questions specifically, when I think of where I'm truly from, like my formative years, the years where I started to really come to be who I am, because it starts with children, right? They say from 7-year-old to 14. Sure enough, it was in Haiti. Those are the most prominent memories, the freshest ones in my brain, in terms of.
Oh, got it.
You know,
so
most connections from there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm most connected to there than anything else.
Yeah. And moving from Brooklyn and then going to France, do you remember that it being different at that age? Like, wow, this is so different.
Yes. Yes and no. So yes, because, you know, the language was different, of course, but it wasn't too shocking because I'd heard it all before. I used to hear it at home with my mother. But what I do remember was the exotic nature of us all. Everyone there wanted to touch us and see us, you know, like they must not have seen a lot of black people back then. There was a huge migration of Africans into France. And we're talking about the south of France too. Marseille, which is, I call it the ghetto of Cannes. It's literally at the town next to Cannes, where the big film festival happens.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's where we were for a while. So I do remember that part. I also remember, you know, so school started there for me. When I came back to the States, I ended up in a public school in Queens, even though we lived in Brooklyn. But the way the districts are set up in New York, you end up wherever your closest school was. And I have
Absolutely.
the border of, are you from there too?
No, I'm actually from Jersey, but I don't, but my whole family, I got a big family in Southside.
Yeah, it's
So,
the same.
you know,
Yeah, so
yeah.
you get it. You get it. So somehow
Yeah.
the way the district was set up, I ended up in a high school in Queens. And I listen, I'm not bragging, but I graduated high school by the time I was 16 and in college. And had my grad degree by 22. And people say, wow, you're so smart. And I'm like, am I though? Because I don't know. Am I really? But the thing was, high school was a breeze for me because the French system, which Haiti also implemented, the way you had to study, the way you were expected to know stuff. Coming here, I'm like, open book test? What? Like you can have your book open and take it? That was unheard of. So it was, high school was a joke for me. So in 2 years, knocked it out. So
Wow.
yeah. And so when I'm like, no, I wasn't that smart. It's just how we studied. I knew how to study. I studied differently. So it made it easier. Nigerians, by the way, apparently are killing it too. And yeah. Yeah.
What's crazy is that I always thought if you were bilingual, and I'm not speaking Spanish, I'm speaking other languages.
Mm-hmm.
If you were bilingual and you know both languages fluently, you learn them fluently, school is kind of easier for you because your mind, your brain has strengthened enough to implement different dialects and thinking patterns. Mm-hmm. So now when you're in school, you're able to, it's muscle memory, of course, but you're able to, how can I say, think differently, because some people think in their native language and they speak whatever language that they're accustomed to speaking out in the world. So with that, I've always said that in school. I said, you know what? You know the reason why they're so good? Because they know different languages. Because their mind is strengthened enough to do that. Whereas if English is your only language and you have nothing but television to watch all day, every day after school, where your parents are working, your academic ability is only going to go as far as you strengthen it,
right.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, overall, for everyone, it's important, I think, and then now we're going into, you know, advice mode, for children especially. It's great if you get them to learn another language, because here's the bottom line. The difference, so I speak, you know, English, French is my first language, and Creole, Haitian Creole. So that's really 3 languages. Spanish, you know, I speak Spanglish like most people who, you know, right. You know how it is back in New York and Jersey too, right?
In Jersey, yeah, you gotta speak Spanish.
We all speak Spanglish. So, but no, the fact is, okay, so I'm gonna grab a pencil, a pen. So for the difference between me and most people is like, you look at this and this is just a pen to you. To me, it's a pen, it's a plume, it's a plume. I have 3 different ways to name this thing, which means when I look at something, I see 3 different possibilities. Do you see what I mean? So that's what you're saying in essence, is you're saying that if you only speak one language, you only see one possibility for things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to work a little harder to make yourself see other possibilities. So that's why I'm all about, you know, if you have a small child, get them learning another language, because it just opens their minds up to other ways of seeing the same thing.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So you come back, you graduate from the Actor Studios program at the New School out there, but you get your MFA. Your Master of Fine Arts. Now that's almost the equivalent, help me out. Is that the equivalent of like a PhD?
Not quite. It would be the one step prior to.
Okay, right, so okay, right
before. Would make me Dr. August.
Okay, so that would be like if you're getting your master's, someone was getting their master's. So you got your master's in fine arts.
Mhm.
I always thought that was like the equivalent to someone getting their PhD in something else. Of course, it says Master of Fine Arts, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I
a
thought
pathway. It's a pathway to it because you can't get a PhD unless you have a master's. See what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
all a master's is, and I try to explain this to people because they're like, every so often they'll say, "What do you mean you don't understand this? You have a master's degree," and I'm like, all a master's degree is specialized knowledge, right?
Specialized knowledge.
Right. So you get your bachelor's degree or your BSc or whatever, liberal arts education. For the first 2 years, you have to take a bunch of different things that expose you to all different things that you normally wouldn't think to study. And then you pick the one thing, right? So then you graduate, right? So you go for a master's, it's because you're like, okay, now I know this one thing, I'm going to zero in on it. So for me, it was theater and acting and drama. So that's all it was. And then if I wanted to go further, then I would have found like maybe something very interesting about the theater world, write a whole thesis on it, and blah, 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 and then become Dr. August. But I'd rather play one on TV. So no, that's not going to happen. Time for a little.
That's what I'm talking about. Salute to my wife. She's getting her PhD as well. So, salute to everybody who's in school just doing what they do. So now it's time for you to start looking for work. What was the actual first role that you ever had, or you ever, and I want to say not working role, but just the first role ever that you remember?
It was this play in a play by a woman whose name I can't recall, but I believe her play got published. It was called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. And that's when I first caught the official bug. Because
caught the bug then.
Yeah, the bug then. That's when I saw the magic of the theater, the impact it had on the audience, the emotional reaction people had. Because it was a story about, a woman who was abused and, everything that can go wrong in the ghetto, because Brooklyn, where I live, is Bushwick, And then not too far from that is Brownsville. And I don't know if you know about Brownsville. They say
Brownsville.
This is how we describe Brownsville. You ain't never been to the ghetto till you've been to Brownsville. If you think you've been to the ghetto, go to Brownsville.
That's the part of Brooklyn, is, as they say. A lot of people may say, they may beg to differ and say East New York, but Brownsville,
no,
never ran, never will.
Don't get lost there. Nah.
They still haven't that place yet either.
It cannot happen. It's just not gonna happen. No, it's impossible.
Salute to all my Brownsvillans, as I call them, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but we probably won't see it when they do gentrify it, right?
Yeah. Not in my lifetime, I don't think.
No doubt. But we love our people however we love them. We love them how we love them, right?
Yeah.
So now, your first role ever, your first working role, when you got that job, when you landed that, what was your first thought? Was your first thought as, this is actually happening, all my work, everything that I've done in life is now manifesting in this one role? Or was it, it's not the role that I really wanted, but it'll do?
Oh, you mean that very first job, the Looking for Love?
First job.
No, that first job, that first job was like proof that I can handle performances every night. Proof that I loved it enough to do all this work and not get paid, or get paid pittance, right?
Right.
The struggle is real, especially
real.
It's real. So it's when you get tested to see, do you love this enough to not know when your next dollar is coming from or where it's going to come from? So there's a lot of that. Now, the right question is, your first paying job, what was it?
Well, that was the next question.
I know. See, this is the problem when you talk to someone who interviews people too. Like I
get to that in 1 second. What the Fockery? You know what I'm saying? But so tell me about that. What was the actual? Tell us about that. Actually.
All right. So believe it or not, while I was in school, I would sneak off and audition, even though the school was advising us not to finish your training, commit to the 2 years of just like intense, don't go get work out there because it's just going to confuse you. I would still sneak off and do it, especially during the summers when I didn't have school. And so I landed. There was a time Chris Rock had a show. Do you remember Chris Rock having like a sketch comedy show at all? It was super short. It was for HBO.
Wait a minute. Yes. Actually, I do. Oh no, that was Robert Townsend. I was thinking of Robert Townsend.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Tell me about that.
You might be a little older than me if you talk about Robert Townsend, by the way. I do know who he is, but he's so not my time. He's right. But that's okay. That's neither here nor there.
That's okay.
So Chris Rock has a sketch show, and Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes was one of his writers on the show. So it used to be a bunch of skits because it was a lot of sketches. And I got cast to do a sketch. There was a time when women were suing basketball players for paternity, for impregnating them. Is that what that's called? Mm-hmm. And there was a sketch where Chris is like telling you all these different scenarios. He's playing a lawyer who's trying to get women to come sue basketball players, right? And so I was a woman that he was like, well, maybe you slipped and fell in some semen. And there's a shot of me coming out of a shower with a towel on, and I slip and I fall in a hotel room, legs up in
wow.
And then, close up of me being interviewed and telling the story of like, well, I don't know. I think I met him. And he's like, yes, you did. Okay, I met him. Like, he's like coaching me on what I'm going to say on the stage. It was kind of funny. That shit disappeared. I can't find it anywhere. I would think Chris Rock has a copy. Something must have happened where you can't find it anywhere, but I never got credited for it, but IMDb wasn't around at the time. So that was the first show, and it was like Wanda Sykes directed me, and it was fun. It was fun. So that was my first bug, my first like paycheck where I'm like, you mean you can make money?
Exactly. And that's gotta feel like one of the best things. Like, you know what? I've been doing this for so long that now I get a paycheck. Now I'm professional, like as if you weren't already professional, but now I'm officially professional.
Well, I'll tell you what's really officially official. What's really official when you get to join the union, when you become SAG, a member of Screen Actors Guild. Oh, you made it.
Now you made it.
Oh, no doubt.
All you have to do is cough. And then you're gonna get credited.
yeah, exactly. So
you're gonna get some sort of residual, guys. I'm telling you right now. Make sure that when you're doing this, do it for real. You should start in theater, but definitely get your SAG card, get registered.
Well,
please.
FYI, good news for all the influencers out there. There is now a contract for influencers under the SAG agreements. Oh, yeah?
So come on, guys.
So even influencers can get protection. You can get protection that way, because part of the problem with not being in the union is that labor laws, right? People can get.
Uh-oh, she froze again. Somebody's calling. Oh, no, the phone died. The phone must have went to sleep on us in mid-sentence. So we're going to wait, and we're going to let her come back in. You understand? And this is how. Okay, she's back. Back. And she's back, y'all. Yes. Hey, listen, let me tell you something.
Wow.
Hey, don't worry about it, right? Because the live people, they'll get to see this. The people that's going to watch the playback on YouTube, they won't get a chance to see this. But we're being great. We're being resilient. We're working through technical difficulties. And this shows the professionalism of you and I. You know what I mean? Now,
the show must go on no matter what. You improvise, you make it work however you can. Absolutely.
Definitely. So you were you were in the middle of explaining to us about I'm sorry, I forgot what it's called, but we were on the Screen Actors Guild conversation.
The influencers contracts. Yeah. Now, if you're an influencer, you can get your protection and join the union and like get your work protected.
And a lot of you who are watching, please take these notes because you're only going to get it here. This is Hip Hop Radio, right?
That's right.
But so before I go into what the fockery, right? Because there's a lot of fockery going on today. But
for sure.
What happened to Bougie Dilema? Talk to me about that. Now, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, please, first of all, follow this young lady, Nadege August. Follow her. You could go on YouTube and find clips of that as well. But when I got a hold of Bougie Dilema, my interpretation was this is going into the mind of a woman or women and understanding how they think in these scenarios, and you can actually learn something from this sarcastic comedy.
I'm glad you get it.
Yeah, it's not dry humor. It's sarcastic comedy. I made that up. I'm probably going to try to get that in the dictionary or something like that. But tell me about that. First and foremost, how'd you come up with that first?
All right. So, as an actor, after a while, you spend so much time reading different scripts. And I don't want to say you automatically become a good writer, but you automatically understand structure.
Yes.
Right? Because you've just read so much that you get a natural sense of what's supposed to happen or how it should and all these different things. I got inspired to do this. So what Bougie Dilema is just a web series. And I don't want to say like, there was a time when all of a sudden, if you're an actor and you didn't have a web series, you were basically a loser.
Yeah. Straight up and down.
Like now, I'm sorry to say, the thing is podcasting. All of a sudden, everyone's got a podcast.
Hello.
Right, exactly. So I just started writing. What happened was people who'd get to know me, they'd be like, oh my God, I thought you were such a bougie, but you're not. And I started to decide, you know what? I need to maybe start making fun of that. Like maybe push that narrative to its extreme. And so I created this character, and the title of the web series is Bougie Dilema, which is my handle. And I spell bougie the right way, by the way. The French way, which means, bourgeoise, which means, yes, voilà. And so like Antoine.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
exactly.
So I thought, let me just push it. So I shot these 3 episodes, even though it was written with at least 20 possible scenarios, but these 3 were shot as proof of content. And what proof of content is, for those who don't know, so you're getting lessons here, getting schooled over here, is when, rather than just bring scripts to potential investors and have them have a vision in their head, you shoot a little something, a little taste of what you think you want it to look like and show them. Do you see what I mean? So I shot these 3 as like proof of content. And that was around the time when I think the economy was tanking or something happened where people were just like, no, we're not meeting anybody. And I just kind of let it fall to the wayside, unfortunately. It's all still written there. I still think I may want to pick it up again, but my worldview has changed so much and has shifted, I think, since the last political, the 4 years we had not so long ago. Okay. I am now just like, maybe I need to have more to say, but it's great fun. It was a great fun part. And I wish I had more money to just keep it going by myself, but it was a lot to take on, to do that all by myself. But I'm glad it's out there. People are still watching it, enjoying it. I like it. I think you like it.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. The kid is my favorite. That one, It's because it's hilarious. Like, guys, I'm telling you, and ladies, y'all gotta watch it. Y'all gotta see what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, it's the third episode. It's called The Kid. You're right. Yeah, The Kid was pretty hilarious.
Oh, it's hilarious. From the bar scene all the way to the date. And I'm gonna watch that again. I'm gonna watch it again after this because it was hilarious. Like I had years ago, I had an idea in my head similar to that, but it wasn't in the structure of how you put it. It was more or less different situations, but in those situations, what you do, it was. I'll tell you what's similar to that. When keeping it real goes wrong, right? But shot in the way that you did this, so it would be kind of like a blend of that together, and it was different situations. And I have a couple of scenes written and things of that nature, but I never picked it up. But I love what you did with that. So Bougie Dilema, kudos. I hope that somebody sees this later on when we post this and wants to pick it up, because I'm telling you right now, if you bring that back, oh my goodness, we need that type of humor. And you said your world views kind of changed and shifted, which brings us to What the Fockery. So tell us about this podcast.
I like what you did there, Hustle Jones. I see what you did there. Kudos. Okay.
Hey, look, Hustle Jones is trying to make it happen over here.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was smooth. That was a nice transition. Well, so What the Fockery is a podcast about things that make you go, what the is that? And since I didn't want to use the F-U-C-K word, I just changed it to an O. And okay, so this is the beauty for me. It's basically born out of my curiosity, right? So rather than, I'm an avid reader, at least I was. I was that person who at one point I was drowning in books. When I was moving, I was like, Glendale Public Library was opening in LA. They were missing drama books and I donated books. And when we counted how many books I brought into the library, 375 books donated. Wow. And I still have books. And these were all books that I owned and read. I was that person who, like, I couldn't borrow a book. I had to own it. I wouldn't read it twice, but I just had to have it. It had to be mine. Yeah. So I had to cut that habit and now borrow from the library. So now the library closes because of the pandemic. So I didn't know what to do. So my curiosity, when I don't know something, I thought, let me just talk to an expert or someone who's living in that lifestyle and come and explain it to me. And as such, develop empathy. So my very first episode was a woman I met who claimed, and she did, legit, she's a married woman and her boyfriend moved in. And her husband was okay with that.
I heard that on the 62nd episode of polyamory.
Yeah, and I had to, and that was my very first episode. I had to re-release it because Willow Smith came out as polyamorous. And I'm like, oh, so everyone knows what polyamory is now. And so a couple of my listeners like either tweeted at me or sent me a message saying, I first heard about that on your show. And so I thought, let me just release it, because then you get to hear someone who's living it, why they're making that lifestyle choice, because it really is a lifestyle. And it's a very small, exclusive group of people who do that. The woman made her life sound so magical that I was like, okay, I don't believe you. I need to talk to your husband. So then I had the husband on the second episode. So it was like her story, his story. And then from there, I explore just different things from like intersex. Have you ever heard of an intersexual person?
I have never heard of it.
Episode 13 of What the Fockery will let you hear. And it's a real thing. 6% of the world population is intersex. It's what we used to call hermaphrodites back in the day.
Okay.
It's a real thing. It's real. And what's happening with that is when children are born that way, the hospitals right away remove one sex.
Yeah.
And of course, when the kid gets to be a certain age, you're like, I'm in the wrong body.
Exactly.
So there's a whole thing with that. So I just basically, anything I hear that's bizarre or like that's curious or interesting or concept, I just find someone who is legit, either is living in it, or like I talked to a sex worker out of New Orleans, like explain that Fockery to me and what that's like for
Yeah.
you living that way, you know? Oh yeah, lots of good stuff, lots of good stuff. But I got to tell you, I had to take a pause and I'm going to start over again. I found a person on Twitter who was just tweeting about color theory and anti-racism. And I thought, oh, that's interesting that there's an actual movement of teaching people how to be anti-racist.
Yeah.
That person sounded prime. As I'm talking to them, 2 hours, and my episodes never go that long. I'm like a 45-minute hard finish, and that's a long episode for me, 45 minutes. I feel like any more than that, people are just tuning out. I tune out. Yeah, I know. Please.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not there anymore. You lose me. So, but I'm talking to this man, and I'm like, something's wrong with him. So finally, I just said to him, "Are you MAGA?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, "You voted for Trump?" He's like, "Yes." And I said, "So you're like an anti-racist?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "You own a MAGA hat?" "Yes." And I couldn't believe that I had spent 2 hours just staring at this man on my screen and going, "You want me dead?" Like, I'm talking to a bona fide Klan member, maybe. So when I was done with the conversation, I was like, wow. So there are two things happening here. On the one hand, if I'm being honest about what my mission statement is with What the Fockery, which is about letting people share and tell us, explain their point of view, then I owe to release that, to let people hear where this person's coming from, right? But at the same time, do I want to give them a platform to spew out their shit?
Right.
So yeah, I still don't know what to do about that episode. I think it's kind of important, but at the same time, I'm like, oh man, it's a tough one.
Well, I would say, you know, if you have your perspective and you're actually interviewing this guy and you're talking, I think that people who are listening can actually make their own judgment, if you will, from the conversation, because you can learn a lot from someone who doesn't have the same types of views as you, especially if you asked him the right questions. Like, I'm pretty sure that he wasn't looking at you as those people that he hates, like me. He's not looking at you. He's as you're talking, in his mind, you're not black. You're just you're black, but you're not black. You know, I'm not saying that that's what it is, but if you talk to a lot of racists and you ask them questions that make them think about what they're saying and not try to combat them, which I'm pretty sure that you definitely were asking him the tough questions that he had to answer. I'm pretty sure he didn't look at you as, you know, it's almost like Do the Right Thing. Well, Michael Jackson, Eddie, and Prince, they're not black. They're black, but they're explain. They don't know how to explain it. So I don't know. I mean, you would have to listen to that and actually make your decision as how you want to put it out there, if you wanted to put it out there, because some people can learn from that.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I remember being so triggered and just for the first time in my life talking to someone, I was like, I don't know what the hell to say. And I almost felt so unprepared. I was unprepared because I so did not expect that at all. And so, and I haven't re-listened to, edit and do all that, pump that we have to do and music and all that stuff to because I just feel like, oh, this might depress me. But then again, it might surprise me. Who knows? But I need to, man up. Oh, I should say ovary up. Get my ovaries all manned up.
Good one right there. Yeah, I see them hearts going. They love that one.
I gotta get the ovaries going.
Definitely. So, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So yeah, a lot of Fockeries out there, my friends. There's a lot of Fockeries.
Tell the people.
So one of my favorite episodes is on, well, there's one on racial trauma, which is great, but there's another one, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the topic, but I basically had people just send me their first person voice, like a recorded story about about racism that they've experienced firsthand. And I had so many stories. And then I had an expert come in and we would listen to the clips together. And then they would tell us whether the situation was racist or if it was just, just sort of like a cultural misunderstanding. I mean, it was a pretty fascinating one. But I got to tell you, to the people who shared their stories, ooh, they were just wanting to be heard. Like it was almost as if they were more than happy to just like, please, somebody just need to know this is what happened to me, Anyway. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What episode is that again? Say it again, just for the people.
Yeah, it's What the Fockery. I believe I want to say it's the 45th episode.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm up to 62 now.
You're up to 62 right now. I love your perspective on the polyamorous relationships. But I tell the people where they can go and listen to all 62 episodes of What the Fockery.
All right, so it's a tall order to go listen to all 62 episodes. So here's the thing. I think of What the Fockery as like an audio Wikipedia. You just choose the topic that grabs you. Like it might be like you want to hear about that intersex thing, or you want to hear about veganism or the sex worker, and oh my God, there's another one. A woman who, like, her thing is she calls herself a unicorn. She loves going into sex clubs. And the thing about her that makes her so special is that when she goes to these sex clubs, a single woman by herself who wants to enjoy that, she apparently is hot stuff, but to hear her share those stories and her experiences, like the kind of conversations that we never have, unless you're in that world, you're not going to know someone. So What the Fockery brings you these people. Some of them, of course, we have to hide their identities because these are some people who are high-powered in their personal lives. They are super, which is why I don't do my episodes on YouTube, because not everyone wants to be seen. And if they know that we're going to see what they look like, they may not come on. So that's why I have to keep it all audio. So basically, What the Fockery is available anywhere. Apple Podcast. What's the one with on your phones? Spotify. Thank you. Just name it. Ask Alexa for it. Alexa will find it. But it's on Google Podcast. You Google it, it'll give you the list. It's on just about every platform. That's free for now. Now they're talking about starting to charge people to listen to podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So you know what? If that's the case, then what we all need to do is we all need to put our podcast on our own websites and just charge people to come to the website, or just throw the traffic. The money will come. We don't even have to charge them. The money will come. If you guys like to do that, then come to the website. That's all.
What? That's a great idea, because Apple, of all people, who for some just by default, they're the number one platform you want to be on, because what it does is it allows people to go in, give a review. The more a podcast is reviewed, the more it's moved up in the rank, that more it gets discovered, right? All of a sudden, Apple is thinking about charging people to listen to podcasts. They've got us hooked. And they'll probably do something like 99 cents, something so reasonable. But at the same time, it's like, where's my cut, Apple? Are you going to give me $1? So it's been all out of pocket for me, So,
absolutely.
Anyway, that's that.
Definitely. Okay, so I got a couple questions to end this, right?
Okay. Does anyone have a question from our list? Can they?
Yeah, guys, I haven't
ask
seen
me anything. I'm here.
The question box, like you guys know, some of you are new, but those of you who are here, you guys should already know that I do read your questions, and you always have questions in the question box, and I don't see any. So we're gonna give you we're going to give you the opportunity now to ask her anything.
Someone just commented. I think it's what, Aquarius Waters. Look at what she wrote. I'm guessing it's a she. Could be a he.
The highest is gonna get angry.
Inside joke. Only a fan would know what they mean.
Listen, the highest, I hope he sees this, because I know that the fans, the Ruthless fans, have tagged him earlier. But regardless, because we're going to send it to him, and hopefully he will not punish Joan for being on a worldwide platform.
Hustle Jones, I need to have you on my podcast.
So look, you heard that, Hustle Jones. You see it. So definitely. So I want to, since you being from Brooklyn, right? We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. But I'm gonna ask this question, right? I could be on here all night with you because you're giving us a lot of information, and I'm just having, I'm having a lovely time. You and Yvonne were like, you guys are the best to be our guests. Like, you guys are really, really, really good with doing these interviews. So I loved it. I'm learning a lot from you as well. So I wanted to say this. I ask you this. You being from Brooklyn, who would you say, if you were stranded on an island for 6 months, okay? And it doesn't have to be the same, it doesn't have to be this genre, but I'm gonna, because this is hip hop, I'm gonna say hip hop artists. Give me 3 hip hop albums that you, for 6 months, that you can listen to.
Don't do this to me.
No one
You don't
loves
understand. It's a great question. You don't understand how my brain works. I was so scared. Okay. Look, do you know how I couldn't remember the name of the title of my podcast? Of that particular episode? I am the worst with names, with titles. I will know the words, all the lyrics to a song. Ask me who sing it. Ask me who's the performer behind it. Nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
But having said that, if you throw some names at me, I will tell you.
All right.
I do like old school hip hop, by the way.
Yeah, I was going right to the old school. Okay.
Okay.
So now when I go to old school, I always go to like Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, and all of that. Yeah. So, okay.
Big Daddy Kane.
I'm sorry?
Big Daddy Kane.
Listen, I'm going to give you these 3. Big Daddy Kane.
Uh-huh.
Rakim.
Okay. And?
Oh, you remember?
I'm listening.
Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. and Rakim, or LL Cool J.
Oh, dude.
So I'm not going to say the 3 albums, the 3 artists, right? Because I just picked 3. So now you only have to narrow it down to 1.
LL Cool J.
As I knew you were going to say, ladies love Cool J.
Yeah. And look at the Big Daddy Kane is fine. Yep. Listen. Big Daddy Kane, because my uncles love that, and they were at some point every guy in Brooklyn was learning how to be a DJ, right? They were scratching their records, and the Big Daddy Kane, I remember seeing him. I remember the cover of the album, but LL, and because he always like around the way, girl, like just there was something about his songs that you could tell he liked women, like he treated women nicely in his songs. Right. I need a girl with at least 2 pair, Fendi bag and a bag attitude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, girl, when I need love, when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl who's as sweet as a dove for the first time in my life. I see I need love.
Of course you're going to love him. Yeah, so LL. I'd be stranded on an island with LL.
No doubt. All right. And when it's all said and done, When it's all over, you're sitting back and people are telling you how great you were. People are telling you, everyone, your family's telling you, yeah, we loved what you did. You did everything. And you say, okay, now it's all over. How do you want to be remembered?
You know, oh, wait, we're getting deep here. I might get a little emotional because I'm an actor.
That's all right. That's all right. We love it.
The thing is, I always think about, not always, every so often, a deep exercise to check in with yourself. Everyone should try that. It's your funeral. What would you like people to say about you in your funeral, at your funeral? But I used to flip that by thinking about what I would like my tombstone to say. And there are times when you want this career, especially for me, when you want it so bad and you're beating down doors and no one seems to respond. I sometimes go to that dark place and I say, well, if it doesn't work out, my tombstone needs to say just one thing. At least she tried. She never gave up. And I think I would love for at the end, not to say at least she tried. It's like she gambled and she won. Because this career is a big gamble.
Yeah.
You take a big risk, you know. I've been reconnecting with cousins and all these years. And then now that, you know, with Ruthless, mercifully, they're starting to see like, oh my God, she really did it. she done did it. And it's like, and I have to remind them, I said, but guys, have I ever called home to ask for money? Have I ever moved back home? I've been doing all right. Just because I'm not in something you know or recognize doesn't mean I failed. I've been able to support myself my entire time since I moved out here alone, just doing this. So I'd like to think that that's not, you know, that's not just a sign of having made it, just because you now recognize it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So ultimately, it's what's inside, and I tell people all the time, that song in your heart. If this career is that song inside of you, you're gonna find a way to sing it. And the minute you have your one toe in, one toe out, you're taking a break. This ain't for you. I never took a break. Even when they were saying no to me, they were forcing a break on me. I'm like, well, guess what I'll do? I'll do live performances. I'll do storytelling performances. I'll be voiceover actor. Because there are a lot of things you can do in this business that aren't about being seen, but you are making money, utilizing your talent, performing. So there are other ways of performing, of just not, you know. So I don't know if I answered your question. Kind of went on a whole tangent here.
I love it. I love it. It's all right. The Real Hustle Jones says, where will you be in the Vegas area?
So wait a minute, who's the Real Hustle Jones? There's a fake one?
No, that's what Hustle.
I've been talking to the fake Hustle Jones.
That's his handle. It's called, I love it. No, that's his handle. That's Hustle Jones asking that. You see how she's like, wait a minute, is there a fake one? It was really good. No, that was Hustle Jones. He wants to know where will you be in the Vegas area.
Well, can I just say, is Vegas open now? Because y'all are forgetting there is a pandemic.
Well, Vegas will be open in June, fully.
Okay.
Crazy.
Vegas is a very interesting town. So, of course, when I think of Vegas, I think of the Strip. I'm hoping the Real Hustle Jones is not, he is talking about the Strip or not, because there is no other Vegas other than the Strip.
Vegas. No, well, you know, I'm from Jersey, but I live out here in Vegas as well, right? And you know, when people think of Vegas, that's all they think of is the Strip. But when you actually, when you kind of get acclimated to it and you start, and if you have people who live here, it's a lot more to Vegas than just the Strip. The Strip is for tourists and party time. But there's a lot more. You know, there's a lot more than meets the eye. I mean, me personally, been there, done that. You know what I mean? I'm more or less building my brand and helping out other people with what I'm doing and artists and things of that nature. But, you know, what she's saying is the Strip, because right now I don't know nobody to be going out anywhere else but the Strip or maybe Fremont experience.
Exactly. So will I ever be in Vegas? Probably not.
Probably not.
Not for a while. But can I just say, Vegas to me represents everything that is wrong with America.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
The Strip, babe. I mean, you find every vice in one room. And my energy is one of those where I can't, by day 3, I need to head back home. No, seriously. I'll go for once. You know, I've had the girlfriends get married, doing the bachelorette party there, going to see like men grinding on poles, you know, for Chippendales. And oh man, boy, have I seen some terrible things there. But I literally am like, okay, I'm good now. I've had a whole night of not sleeping, of drinking. Can I just head back home, please? You know?
Oh, he does.
Yeah, you know, there's only so much partying I can do. I get bored easily.
No question.
Yeah.
All right.
So does that answer your question, The Real Hustle Joan?
Yeah. Does that answer the question, homie? Last question of the night.
But I do want to address anyone who's watching said, because we have to, you know.
I'm trying to, you know, like stretch it out a little bit before we let her go. Like, where are the questions? Like, you guys got questions upon questions any other time. But you know what?
Yeah.
When she initiates it, oh, that's when we get scared, don't we?
All right. What is your final question of the evening?
Okay. Well, before we even do that, yeah, I guess I'll ask you this.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
No,
whoa.
Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. So where do you expect to be, I would say, in, well, no, I don't want to say that because it's too ambiguous. What I will say is, what I'll ask is, do you have anything coming up outside of Ruthless that you can talk about to the people?
There's nothing I can legit talk about, but I will direct those who are into independent films, who are into art forms, who are into understanding that sometimes people have visions and they put something out there and it's their baby. And if you can separate the fact that this was no big studio with lots of money behind it, but you see the work and the effort, you will appreciate this film that I lead in. It's called Out of Time. It's
Out of Time?
Yeah. Don't get it wrong, because Denzel has a film also called Out of Time. So I'm not in that one with Denzel yet. I will be working with Denzel that one day. Watch. At least his son, because his son has his voice. And his son is turning out to be a pretty damn good actor. Denzel's son. Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't think of his name right now. Obviously, he's got the same last name. And he and Daddy were both up for Emmy nominations this year. Would you believe that? Yeah, Denzel has a son who's about to go, Daddy, you can retire now.
Retire now. I got this from here.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's on Amazon. It's called Out of Time. It's on Amazon. And I play this detective who goes into the future and the past to chase aliens who have come to destroy the planet.
Oh, we're watching that tonight. We're going to watch that.
I hope you do. But watch The Kid again, though, for some hilarity. I have some, that one right there that's written in stone, because I got to show my wife that first and foremost. I got to show her that. But that's written in stone. But we definitely going to watch Out of Time. Yeah.
So I think since they're telling us you got to watch the comments. Well, when we're trying to talk to each other, it's hard for us to watch the comments.
Can you scroll and see the previous comments or no?
Let's see if we can read the comments. I guess they're afraid to
Oh, John Washington, that's the son of Denzel. Thank you, Aquarius.
Thank you, Aquarius Waters. No, I'm scrolling and the comments are just the comments. So, what would you say?
I did see some people trying to ask questions about the show Ruthless itself, but you know, that's for some other time, okay?
Yeah,
we're about Nadege, not Joan, okay?
No doubt, no doubt. Yo, you know, you have been such a pleasure this time. I mean, we had technical difficulties. You came back like a champ, and we finished it and we rocked it out. I definitely appreciate you. This is the last, I would say, what would you tell an upcoming actor or actress, anyone in the business who may feel a little discouraged because they haven't not reached their apex, but they haven't reached that point to where they feel that they're a star?
I would say you're in it for the wrong reason.
In it for the wrong reason.
In it for the wrong reason. You have to know your why in life. And if you just want to be a star, hey, listen, Instagram allows you to be an influencer, so you can be a star. Again, I got to go back to like that song in your heart.
Let's do it. Say it.
That song in your heart. If it's there and it's real, you're going to find a way to sing it. And you're going to sing it loud. And even people tell you, your voice sucks, shut up. You're going to be like, I'm going to keep singing. Because at some point, it's going to hit the right notes. And that vibration is going to attract the other vibration that's going to come with you. And then next thing you know, people get you now. That voice that we were telling you was not so great, all of a sudden it is the voice to have.
Is the voice.
It's the voice to have. So I would say that's it. Thank you, Soho Chic, for agreeing with me.
No question.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely appreciate you. I've kept you long enough. Like I said, we could be on here for 3 hours.
We can. We certainly can. This was a lot of fun. So I learned 2 things this evening. During Insta Live, the phone has to be vertical, not horizontal. Yay! Yes. See what happens when the highest lets me out of the compound, you guys? I learned shit.
You learned shit.
Oh, Finesse Banks, did you watch it? Like Worth It by Finesse, Worth It by Finesse Banks. Okay.
Yeah. Finesse Banks. She's an actual producer / engineer. And she is a great talent.
Yeah.
So she was just on before you. She and a rapper called he's called T.Y. the Gift. So they were on before you, and they stuck around because everybody wanted to see what you had to say, and also they love Ruthless. You know that people love Ruthless, so you know.
Yeah, we do, and I got to tell you, and this is honest, like so appreciate everyone who does. It's really special. It's a special show, and it's founded special people. And together we just special.
Hey, I love it, and I didn't even think that I was really gonna like it. I was like, it's a spinoff of The Oval, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And when I actually started watching it, I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Oh,
so
yeah. It sucks you in, doesn't it? You just want to know what's going to happen next. You start to care about these people. You can't believe they're Fockeries.
Absolutely, they're Fockeries, and it's just it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely appreciate you for giving us this opportunity. Like I said, I've watched a lot of your work on television. Now I'm going to start digging a little bit more into, to try to see a little bit more of what you've done in the past. It's a bunch of I've noticed that I saw your face in different movies and different shows, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's okay.
Like I was saying, exactly. And I love that, like, people don't right away know what it is they've seen me in. To me, yes. That means I make sure I try to do my best to disappear.
You're doing it.
Because
and you know what?
It's about that character, that life that someone else wrote down.
Absolutely. That way you don't get typecasted. You'll always have a job.
True that.
And now,
True that.
coming out of Tyler Perry's boot camp, you'll definitely have a job. Trust me. I'm not only am I speaking greatness into you, but also just seeing it and knowing it. And I'm just glad that I got this chance to have the opportunity to speak with you, have a good time, and learn some things as well. So, you know, much love and respect for you, Nadege.
And can I do want to say just one thing. Your
Sure.
team, your whole team. I don't know how much of you were behind the emails and the contact. You guys were all such, I don't know if it's the real Hustle Jones or if it's the fake Hustle Joan or if it's the hip hop radio. That whole team that you guys are, you were so lovely in how you reached out to me, how you kept in touch, how we related. That was really impressive. And you have done such a beautiful job. I thank you for being so chill, for putting me at ease. And I just feel like, this
Thank you. Thank you. And guys, LS has gained another friend. I really appreciate you. And once again, we'll try to.
The real Hustle Jones. Look at him. He's making sure we know.
Yes. Yeah, one thing we pride is we try to pride ourselves on being prompt, and that's another thing, and also just being professional as well, and making sure that we respect you as well as wanting the audience to respect what we do. So much appreciated. We thank you very much, and we got to do this again another time.
I'll tell you what, we'll do this like maybe if the other seasons start to roll out and there's more to discuss. We'll do, or if there's something else that happens and I'm like, hey, let me share what's going on in my world.
Absolutely. And hopefully by that time, we'll be open. Well, I would say hopefully when we open, we could do it in person.
That'll give you an excuse to go to Vegas, right?
There you go, Hustle Jones. So you know what I mean? You'll get a chance to, and we don't do autographs anymore. We get pictures. We take pictures with people. That's the new autograph.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for those of you who stuck around for the live, who watched, and humbled.
Oh, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. You have a wonderful evening, and I can't wait to see more of what Joan has in store, because I haven't finished the second season.
Don't sleep on Joan. That's all I'm saying. Don't take no naps on Jones.
Don't sleep on. Hey, look, she might be giving us the alley-oop, y'all. Well, thank you guys for watching. You all know my slogan: always show love, always stay true. You never know.